once you see some of these people's lives, because like, we know some of these folks, and you see some of their lives and what it's done for them, you're like, dude, I knew the house you were living in before, and I see what you're doing, driving out, living it, and you're just like, whoa, so it's a big deal. And the whole thing, and see, like, other IMOs, I really don't know, because I started a Family First Life, but like in MLM, there's no such thing as an exit strategy. Yeah. Like if I worked at a company and I wanted to leave, number one, they wouldn't let me, right? But if they did, I would have to sell my business back to you. Well, that's a captive audience. I can't like sell your business to you. Well, I have to sell it to you. I mean, you can go, hey, your business is only worth 3x, even though on the private market, it would be 7, right? And so like, there's no exit strategy for a lot of business industries out there. But with us, with Family First Life, primarily, because even within the life insurance industry is not popular, right. But within Family First Life, we have the ability to go, hey, if you grow your business to this, you can package it up and be able to sell it. And if you wanted to exit the industry, you could. Yeah. Most people don't, because it's done wonders for them and their family.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us on a special edition of the Elite Sales Podcast. You're not seeing double. I'm here with my buddy, Stephen Yee. He's actually in town. So anytime I have an opportunity to hang out with Stephen, I want to make sure I can do it, because you got to find people like this guy for your business. The thing is, we're not in the same hierarchy directly. We don't make any money off of each other, right. In that type of way. But the thing is, we're all part of the same FFL family. We're all part of the same overall team. And he's one of the guys I can always count on to, just keep it honest and keep it real with me. Right. So the thing is, like, with the rest of your team, like, sometimes like you're going through like certain struggles or challenges, and like you can't like complain down to your guys, right. or I guess it's not really complain, but you just want to have someone to like bounce ideas off of. Right. And, you also don't want to bring it to someone who you're going to impact negatively. Right. And I know that you got the right perspective, and you can always, you always are a student of the game as well. So, I mean, I feel like I always learn something from you whenever.
No, man, dude, I say this, dude, it was like 2 years ago, maybe longer. Remember after the Riverside conference, we had dinner at the pho restaurant, and it was like, that was a big thing for me, because like I was bumping my head, just wasn't able to get through. And then you're like, dude, it's really this simple. Boom, here's a blueprint. And I was like, I'm in. You know what I mean? So like, I'm very big on that, because like, dude, like when I was new, how many people I reached out for help, and they were like more than welcome to help me. And dude, you're one of those guys that just brought me in and treated me as your own. And so I'm like, anytime I get to return the favor, bro, I appreciate it. And I seriously do. And I say this all the time, man, like for those of you guys that are working with this, FFL Elite team, like you guys are in great hands. Yeah. Like if you guys don't believe me, like you do not want to know the stuff that happens on elsewhere. You know what I mean? So like you guys are blessed to be in this organization with the leadership of Albert and all the guys here. You guys are in great hands.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And you can always kind of tell who works with who sometimes, because right. I'm extremely blessed to have the team that I got. But when it comes to guys on your team, like I'll go to these events, these training conferences, national convention. I talk to people, and then they come up, and then like we talk, and I'm always like, who do you work with, or which agency are you with? I mean, not that it matters, because I'll talk to anybody. Help
We're just
anyone,
curious.
Just curious. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I work with SkyPoint. I work with Bruce. I work with Brandon. I work with. Right. I'm always like, yeah. You always tend to kind of reflect, right? Like who the leader is within that group, right? And doesn't mean that everyone's on the same page, right? But generally, the majority of people are on the same page. It's a reflection,
usually.
Yeah,
usually. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you've got great groups. He's a board member with FFL SkyPoint.
Trying to be like you guys, man. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so that's also you were with FFL for how long now,
dude? So I got started. I got licensed in 2014 to December. So I didn't really get started until January 2015. Yeah. And I was here for a year, and I didn't, like the story is that I quit, right? But I didn't really quit. I just didn't want to sell insurance. Yeah. So I left everything alone and just didn't do this for a year. And then, I got engaged and married, and I was like, shoot, I got a wedding to pay for. Right. And I was like, so with that, I was like, okay, cool. What's the best way I know I can make a large lump sum of money? Because you're not going to do it at a job. Like no matter how hard I work, I was going to get paid the same hourly rate. Right. So I was like, at insurance, I'll get paid for performance. If I go kill it, I'll be all right. So I came back in March of 2018. And dude, just it's been a freaking awesome ride since.
You really picked it up from like that point.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you know what's funny is like when I got started in 2015, I didn't want to be in the home. Like I was so scared to go run an in-home appointment. I was like, I'll dial the leads for you. You go run the appointments and just split me in. I'm good. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so crazy because like when I came back, I had the complete different mindset. I was like, dude, the sales made in the home, that's where the big bucks are. Like, I only want to be in the home. I don't want to be on the phone. Like, get me in the home, sit me in front of a client, whatever it may be. So it's so funny how like you have the same person, but like their mind changes on certain things. And the adaptation to our business is like, that's the beauty of it, right? Like right now, if I were to get started in Family First Life right now, bro, I'd sell virtual the whole way.
Yeah.
Gas the way it is, $6-7 a gallon. Seriously. Right. And then, wear and tear on your car, travel expenses. Like, no, I can sell from the comfort of my home, put a headphone on, dude, I'm in. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the company.
Well, I think it's also perspective and our experiences that we gain and where we are at that point of our lives. Cause I remember I met you the first time I started January 2018, and then I guess I heard about you, but then and we were at a sales conference at Paul McLean's office.
March. That was March 1st, dude. That was the first event that I came back to.
Yeah, and then I was just like, and then the company wasn't big at all.
It was like 20 people in that room.
Yeah, so I was like looking around the room. I'm like fellow Asian guy. I'm gonna talk to this guy after,
right?
Which I got a funny story about the whole Asian thing. But so I was like, all right, I went up and talked to you, and then I was like, you're like really sharp, and I was like, I don't know why this guy's killing it. I'm like, I was like, he should be one of the top producers in the company. But I guess it was because, I mean, I'm sure like you getting engaged and having a wedding to pay for, it just changed things around for you, right. And then you all of a sudden you started killing it.
Dude, that's so that's what I tell people, right? It's like I tell everybody there's like 3 levels of life. There's like crisis, survival, and like success mode. And so I was like literally in between crisis and survival, right? My back was against the wall. I was ready to be basically rock bottom. And it forced me to do something I was very uncomfortable with. Like I just said, like I didn't want to be in the home back then. Like a year or two ago, I didn't want to be in the home. Now I'm like, that's the only thing I'm going to do. Right. And so for me, when your back's against the wall, you have a decision to make to see what you want to do. Like it's fascinating to me when people have like chargebacks and like they're behind on their bills and they're like, well, I'm not going to go run 30. I'm like, dude, you have no choice. Right. And so for me, I was like, because I didn't have a choice, I was like, I'm either forced to learn this and get good at it, or I could get a job. And I'm like, no way. Yeah. Right. Like I'm unemployable. So, I always tell people like to go from crisis mode to survival mode, that same effort is the same effort it takes to go from survival to success. Right. The only difference is at survival, you have comfort. Yeah. You like your back's not against the wall right now. You got a little bit of money. Like you're making just enough. So like life doesn't suck, but you're not making enough to the point where life's amazing. Right. Like you're just there. You're just surviving. Yeah. And so like, if there's anything I can tell you guys that are watching this, like just keep that foot on the gas, right. Because if you can just blow past that comfort zone, man, like life gets good.
Right. Well, yeah, I think everybody just recognizes, because like once you're surviving and you're comfortable and you're okay, I think to get to the point where life is going to be amazing, in your head, it's going to take an unfamiliar amount of work, right? And something that you haven't done before, and something that you don't know if you're ready to sacrifice for that, because you can't. It's going to be a commitment, right? You can't just be like, I'm going to work kind of hard and expect it. It's not. It's not going to work.
And you have something to lose finally, right? That's why you're surviving, right? And it's like when your back's against the wall, you have nothing to lose. You're like, dude, this is all I got. I'm in. Yeah. Like if I have to work 10, 12, 14-hour days, I'm in. I got no other choice. But when life's good, like you're like, man, a date night with the wife sounds real good right now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what about getting around a golf or playing a game of basketball? It's like, dude, like all these distractions come in. Right. And so for me, that's why it's like, if you can trick yourself and let yourself pretend that you don't have anything, even though what you do, oh man, that's a powerful place to be in. That's how I was able to get to, like EVP ish. Was like, I just pretend like all the every dollar I made, I literally transferred it to another account and I hit it. So like I didn't know what was in there, and the deposited account always said 0. Right. So like I'm fascinated with staring at my bank account like twice a day. So I was like 0, got to go to work. 0, got to go to work. Like, because if I see 10 grand in there or something, I'm like, life's good. I don't have to work. Yeah. Right. So That was my big thing, man, was like tricking my mind to believe that I didn't have anything, even though I had something, so I can just like overly do it.
Right.
You know, so that was fun for me.
No, that's definitely a big key. I automatically have every deposit automatically transfer into a different account. I have to do the same thing. But, you know, you well knows I actually go and spend a lot of my money. But I mean, I'm trying to throw it back into the business as much as I can. Like I've more than doubled my staff.
Right.
You know, you see me trying to like improve stuff around the office
Right.
and, you know, just stuff that I know if I don't want to hold on to my money, because if I do that, then I will get that false sense of security and I'm just going to.
But it's not like,
hard.
but you should be able to enjoy the stuff you should have too. It's just foolish when you're a brand new agent and you have your first month that you have a decent, like let's say you protected 20 families, you had finally a good month. You don't go buy a brand new car at that time.
No, definitely.
You got to like put in the work. And like, once you have a few good months, all right, cool, man. Like to, you know, buy something for yourself, whether a nice watch or shoes or a car or whatever. All right, I got it. But it's like, I've seen so many people get blown out where they have one good month and they have no idea how to manage finances. And they go, let's go get $100,000 car. And I'm like, gosh.
Let's go to Hawaii for 2 weeks.
Right. Go to Disneyland. Right. And it's like, you get blown out because by the time you come back, chargebacks roll. Like, dude, it's horrible. It's like you're in a worse situation than you were before you started the business.
Right.
And it's like, that was the part that like blew me away that I never understood, is like some people got to this threshold of income, which it's more than they've ever made. And they live life like it's almost worse because they don't know how to manage their money. So, you know, that was my big thing, was like, that's why it was a big deal for me to pretend that I didn't have anything. So that when I wanted to go, because I never ran for money. Like you go, hey, Steve, you can work real hard and have like 50 G's in your bank account. I'm like, whatever. Like, never excited me. But if I can go, hey, if I go, you know, protect 50 families this month and you're going to allow me to go buy, I don't know, a new set of golf clubs, dude, I'm in. Like, it wasn't about the money. It was about
the freedom of it.
Yeah. It was like I wanted to reward myself for the hard work. So I'm not like, for those of you that go, oh man, like he doesn't enjoy himself. No, I do. Trust me. It's just that like, I don't spend it early.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, after all the business bills are paid, after all my staff's bills are paid, the business expenses, then I pay my family and myself the salary. Okay. If I have a little bit left, cool. I can, you know, splurge on something, but it's like, I wasn't going to do all that before.
Right.
On my business expenses. Like that's where people get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with spending money. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just if you're going to spend money when you're new in the business, learn how to run the business first. Like, know where your income is going to be coming from, what the overhead cost is going to be, how much you need to keep this thing running for the operations. Like, you can't just start jumping into it and start like, you can't go out for 1 week and kill it. You could work really hard for that week and you can make a bunch of money. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's going to keep coming like this every single week.
Yeah, bad weeks,
you know, something's going to fall off. Something's not going to issue at the time you expect. You know, unexpected things happen. You always got to prepare yourself. You got to build up some capital first, have something in your back pocket, then you can go and enjoy yourself.
Right. Yeah, man. No, I agree with that 100%. And that's, you know, like Andrew Taylor made it so simple for us to understand. He was like, dude, like you have a pizza shop and, you know, you sell 100 pizzas and there's no more dough or cheese. You can't take all the money you have and go pay your mortgage.
Right.
Because now you're out of business.
Oh, well, actually, I was having a talk with my guys yesterday. We hopped on a quick IG live and we were talking. I was talking about, you know, it's when it comes to business, when people are new, I think I've come to learn in all my years of working in business and working with other people. I don't think anyone's really like genuinely lazy. Like there's some people that you would think maybe they might be lazy because they have a lot of lazy habits.
Right.
But I think a lot of people are generally not lazy. They're just unmotivated. They don't have a vision. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
And if you don't have anything that gets you out of bed, you know, get you up early and get you thinking like, okay, I need to get to work.
100%.
Then it's real easy to come off as being lazy because you're like, I don't know what to do.
Comfortable or complacent. Right. Dude, that's, you know, I just had a conversation with Paul McLean on this. Like, I feel like people move for two reasons. You're either pushed by pain or you're pulled by vision. And what I mean by that is like some people, if you go, hey, if you do these things, you can have this goal. So they're pulled by a vision to go forward. Other people, like myself, I was pushed by pain. I came here to work because if I didn't pay for that wedding, life was going to suck.
You'd be in pain.
Right. So I was pushed by the pain to go to work. I feel like a lot of people, like when they're, like you said, like they don't have anything to run for, there's not a real materialistic or a real reason why they're doing this business. They stay in the middle. They're not pulled by vision and they're not pushed by pain. They're just literally there. And that's why, like, you know, a lot of new agents that I see that they struggle, it's like we set temporary goals with them and go, hey, if we can get you out of this situation that you're in and we can make you this amount of money or whatever it may be, like how hard would you work to get there? And they work just enough to get there, and that's it.
Right.
They don't do anything beyond that, above that. And that's the part that blew me away of the consistently like resetting goals and putting something higher. And that's something I think like Sean does a good job of. It's like, hey, we hit this number. Yeah, not enough. Could have done more. And it's like, dude, that was a record week. Yep, not enough. Could have done more.
Right.
And it's just like nonstop putting that goal in front of us so that we can always reach for something and not get complacent.
Right. Yeah. And that's also why you got to get a buddy like Steven. No, because I mean, sometimes like, you kind of hit a plateau or you kind of feel like maybe am I a little bit stuck? Or is this supposed to go like this? And then, I'll bounce a couple ideas off of you and then, you'll tell me what you went through. And then I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. Like, I know what I needed to do. And at least I know like, this is, I put myself into this position because I didn't do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And then this is what I need to change for me to get to the next step.
Dude, that's where it was for me too. Like when I get stuck, and don't get me wrong, everybody does at some point. It's just that we get stuck at different levels. The first thing I do is I call for help. Call people that are right around, where I was or where I want to be. And I go, dude, when you were here, what did you do?
Right.
And you shut up and listen, because it's like, if I knew the answers, I wouldn't be stuck.
Right.
So like when I was stuck trying to learn how to go senior sales manager, VP, I was like, dude, Albert, I just flat out don't know what I'm supposed to do. And you're like, dude, this is the blueprint, knock it out. Right. And so like went through that, smoked through SVP, EVP was there. And then we're kind of like we were stuck at like 700,000-800,000 for a little bit. But it's like, that's when I started calling like Zach, when I started calling Richard, I started calling, Alondra and Josh, Nina and Hayden, go, how do you guys get out of this? What did you do, placement wise, business wise, decisions, recruiting, staff, whatever it may be? How did you get out of this position? And dude, like the beauty of this company is we share knowledge with one another without holding back.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen at a lot of places. Like the places where you started working from and where I worked at, it was kind of like, I'll give you enough. I'm not going to give you the whole thing.
Right.
And I'm like, that's crazy, because it's not like we're even competing in the same marketplace.
Right.
So that's what I enjoy about this stuff, man, especially here at FFL.
Well, there's actually some people like, especially like our former companies and, other places, they deliberately give you the wrong information. Because they're so competitive and they think they have this like secret playbook. And I'm just like, dude, you get leads and you go to work. Like,
right.
How difficult is it? You invest in your business,
right?
You go to work.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned that early on too. When Joe was running business, they were like, dude, that county that you're in, it's the hardest place to sell insurance. You shouldn't work there.
Right.
We're like, what? And then like we started selling some insurance and we're like, no, it's actually not that bad. And we're like, wait a minute. They probably told us that because it's actually too easy to sell here. They don't want us to come in.
Right.
And it's just like, whatever, dude. At the end of the day, Elite is Elite, and it's someone that requested for life insurance. And if we can go service them, we're in.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's funny that you say that. Some people give you deliberately the wrong information. Doesn't happen here, but other places, I've seen that very often.
Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't happen here. I mean, vast majority of people do help. Sometimes you go and talk to some people and they give you kind of a real fluffy answer. And
it's not enough.
They don't really tell you. But then again, I also like I keep it in perspective because I'm like, maybe that's just what this person, how they view it.
Right.
Or even if they didn't necessarily want to help me in that moment or whatever it is, I'm like, I'm also not entitled to anything. Like they don't have to do anything.
Right.
So, but then you identify like, who's going to help you and who's not. And that's okay.
That's the beauty of, I always say you can't choose your upline, but you can choose your sideline.
Right.
Who you can pick and build your relationships with and learn this business from. Because dude, I tell people all the time, like I've learned more about this business from people that are not in my money line than are. And there's just no other way to say that.
Right. You
know what I mean? So it's not like I'm forever grateful for Trey and Joe, and they've gotten me to where I needed to be, but there's certain things that I needed from other people. And there's, like they always say, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. Like I wanted to learn a different way to do the same thing.
Right.
Because like your perspective just might not have worked for me, but his perspective might. Right. And I just needed to be able to do that. And being able to, like I said, plug in with you and plug in with like Jack and some of these other people, just like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
And that basically changed our business, man. And I, value that friendship and teach people how to do the same.
Right. And I think that's a good point. I think a lot of times when you hear people say like, oh, my upline's not doing this for me and I can't grow, my upline's not doing that. It's also like, that's not their job to do it for you. Like it's supposed to be for you to go out and seek these answers, for you to learn, and for you to go and try it out, go and do different things. Because the thing is, you don't want to be limited by your upline in that regard either. Because it's like you're not trying to build exactly what they're trying to build. Like you want to take the parts that you see that fits into what your vision is for your agency, and then you take from other people. I mean, we got Sean Mike to learn from. We have Andrew Taylor to learn from. We got all these other guys, that freely give out their information. So like, it's on you.
Right. It's like there's too much place for information, right? Like you can go on YouTube and learn how to do everything.
You can't go on YouTube and not trip over a bunch of FFL stuff.
Exactly. Right? And so it's like if you're not acquiring the knowledge that you need to, it's 100% your fault. Just being honest.
I agree. So next step then, I guess, I mean, we're talking about the integrity deal. Why should people be going after this deal?
Dude, it's like scary, right? It was like this mystical creature, like, cause nobody knew what it was. And then you started getting people in the game and in the crowd and then the pipeline and all that stuff. And dude, what I can tell you, it's like from the stuff that I've seen, cause I'm not necessarily an integrity partner yet. Hopefully within the next, 2 months it'll be done. But what I can tell you is like, when they say like that generational wealth thing, like, in the MLM space, they throw that around. Dude, that's like real here. Like it really is. Like once you know what the company has done and the stock and what it's going to do, and you kind of understand what, the competitors, like our competitors, what they're trading for, and what Integrity's valuation is. And you're just like, whoa, if it got anywhere near that, like, oh my gosh. Right. And then being able to be a part of a team that's bigger than you. Like for example, right now, we're trying to add some employees, and Integrity's HR department is way better than ours because we don't have one. Right. So when they go, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is how we can source people out and help you. Like I got on a call with their marketing team a week ago, and they were like, hey, what is your marketing strategy for this year? And I was like, it's 3 months in and I really don't know. And they're like, well, how about if we can assist you with this, that, and the other? Did you ever, think about using this? What about this? What if we built you a site that did this? And what if we did this for you? And I'm like, yes, and definitely yes. Yeah. And I'm like, all that back then, I would have had to definitely do it by myself. Now it's like we have a team of people behind us. So like when you watch all these announcement videos and they're like, Integrity has the resources to let me do what I do best, which is teach people how to sell insurance. And I'm like, that's what it means. Is there's a team behind closed doors that their sole job is to help you make your life easier by, all the stuff that you don't want to do. Not that you don't want to do, but it's like you have to do because you're a small business owner, but you're not very good at it. They take that off your plate and go, Albert, go do what you do best. Go teach people how to sell insurance, protect families, help them get, paid and promoted, and boom, we'll take the back end stuff. Dude, that was the biggest thing for me.
The integrity effect.
Yeah, dude. And it's like once you see some of these people's lives, because like, we know some of these folks, and you see some of their lives and what it's done for them, you're like, dude, I knew the house you were living in before. And I see what you're doing, driving out, living it, and you're just like, whoa. So it's a big deal. And the whole thing, and see like other IMOs, I really don't know because I started a family first life. But like in MLM, there's no such thing as an exit strategy. Yeah. Like if I worked at a company and I wanted to leave, number one, they wouldn't let me, right? But if they did, I would have to sell my business back to you. Well, that's a captive audience. I can't like sell your business to Yoel. I have to sell it to you. I mean, you can go, hey, your business is only worth 3x, even though on the private market, it would be 7, right? And so like, there's no exit strategy for a lot of business industries out there. But with us, with Family First Life, primarily because even within the life insurance industry is not popular, right. But within Family First Life, we have the ability to go, hey, if you grow your business to this, you can package it up and be able to sell it. And if you wanted to exit the industry, you could. Yeah. Most people don't because it's done wonders for them and their family.
Well, I mean, aside from MLM, I mean, even in the insurance game, if you don't have like a deal like the integrity deal to have a true walk away exit strategy. Right. The thing is, you can continue to run your business or let it continue to sit, and hopefully you'll get some residuals and renewals and all that. But the reality is probably going to continue to have the normal attrition. Right. There's going to be other agencies and other IMOs trying to cannibalize your business, and it's going to be gone. Like that's not really that sustainable.
Dude, Grady said something that was really good for me because a lot of people think this, right? They're like, why would I sell? Right. Because if I just kept on to it, I would be able to make that later on. Right. But they're basically giving you time in the future back. Because like whatever, like the multiple, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but the multiple they give you, you're almost buying a decade of your life back. And so like, think about what you're able to do with that time, because like time we don't get back. Money we can always earn more of. That's very easy. Right. And so like, I'll give you an example. It's like you look at someone like Andrew Taylor, sold his business at when he was doing, 1.2 issue paid a month. Now his team's like 18 million.
Right.
He couldn't do that without integrity because of the resources and the backing and all that, And so you look at something like that. That's the reason why, in my opinion, like the integrity effect, like you talked about, is real.
Yeah.
And they actually show you. They show you that when they sit down with you and go, "This is what we believe we can do with your business," and it's fascinating.
Yeah. And shout out to Andrew Taylor and Nicole with brand new baby. Congratulations to you guys,
baby AC.
I actually reached out to Andrew after he had the kid, and I was like, I'm like really happy because Andrew's always been a super fair guy with me. He's always been straight up, and he's always helped me out. I don't reach out very much, but then like the thing is, he's always been there, and I really appreciate him for that. But I was like, man, I'm so like genuinely happy for you because I know you, Nicole, and AC and Atlas are set for life, and
literally
it's beautiful.
Do you like think about, I'm like jealous, right? Because I had a kid prior to all this. And so like, I was like, think about this. And like shout out to Andrew, and I work out of his office, so I freaking love him. But like, think about this. He built his business. He's able to sell it, get married, have a child. He's able to see Atlas and AC grow up every day.
Yeah.
And like those kids in a good way will never understand what it's like to be broke.
Right.
And if it's our job as parents to give our kids a better life, dude, he did it.
He definitely did it.
You know what I mean? Like that's cool.
What makes it even more inspiring is because I mean, like I said, Andrew's always been a very straight up dude. I know like there's situations where he could have been very opportunistic and he could have been much more advantageous for him personally, but then he's looked out for people.
Yep. And
he did it the right way. He works really hard. He did things the right way. And I'm like, that's inspiring for me because like, some places you look at it, you're like, you can only get ahead if like, you're willing to like step over other people or you're willing to like, bend things ethically. And I don't want to have to deal with all that.
Got to stab somebody in the back, fire them,
steal something, steal people, steal groups, steal whatever. I mean, like, I don't know. And I've just watched him and I'm like, that's really awesome.
That's the way I want to build it.
Yeah.
So no, yeah. I appreciate you for having me, man. This is awesome being able to see the office and the growth. I mean, I think I was here like 2-3 years ago, and it's definitely not the same as it is from back then. You guys have definitely upgraded the office. So I appreciate you for, welcoming me and my team for being here. But, thank you guys for having us.
Yeah. So real quick before we let you go, I mean, for new people that are interested in or looking to move that direction to get an integrity deal, what's the first steps that they should take?
The first steps, it depends where you are, right? If you have capital, like you have money prior to coming to FFL, you should definitely invest your money in staff, office, structure, all that stuff. If you don't, like I definitely didn't have it. You have to sell to fund it, right? And so my big thing is, that's a great question. My bills right now are the same as when I was an SVP doing, protecting 300 families a month. Yeah, 300 families a month. So like if you look at that, you go, if I can get used to spending the money early, see, like this is one of the things that messed me up. I was doing about 30, 40 families a month, and our team was doing about 300-400 families a month. And I was talking to Sean one day, and I was like, dude, I'm making just enough money that everything's paid and I'm taken care of, but I don't have anything to show for. He goes, dude, keep doing it for another 6 months. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And he's like, because what happens is your bills are already sustained. Nothing changes. Your 4 full-time employees will always be 4. You're not going to get 8 or 12. It's going to stay 4. Your office is already taken care of. Your expenses are already taken care of. What's going to happen is when the team grows because of what they do, you're going to spend the same, but you're going to make more.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And so like a lot of people go, I don't want to spend the money until I have it. No. You don't get the money because you have to spend it.
Right.
You spend it to make it. Yep. And so for me, it's like if you're a brand new person and you want to learn how to get an integrity deal, number one, talk to Albert and talk to the other folks that are in a position that are, going to be in the talks soon or that they're already in the talks. But what you want to do is you want to learn the structure of what to spend money on. See, I think the other thing that, we were talking about spending money, right? That was pretty funny, is people spend money wildly. Like there's no rhyme or reason for them to spend the money. They just go, I'm going to blow it off on this. No. Like if I was brand new I've been saying this is the first thing I would get if I was, protecting 20 families a month, I'll get someone to save me time, which is an admin. Admin and recruiter, like they do both roles. They call Mutual of Omaha's pending, America, all that stuff. So I don't have to do it. I can get really good at selling insurance and protecting families and teach people how to do the same. After that, I'll get recruiters on board and I'll literally put the whole infrastructure in place. Because at the end of the day, I'm big on buying my time back. So like if I'm just going to use simple math. If you wanted to make $1 million a year, your pay rate is $500 to $600 an hour. So if I'm talking to a customer service rep at an insurance carrier that took me 45 minutes on hold, that conversation was not worth $400 or $500, $600. But I can hire a $15 employee to do that, which allows me to go do a new agent call, a lead strategy call, working with a group, whatever it is. That activity will pay me $500, $600 an hour.
Right.
And so for me, I was very big on buying my time back, not necessarily to like a lot of people get staff and give them the work so they don't have to do anything. No. I give them the work so I can go do something else.
A higher value, something that generates more.
I'm more efficient in that. And so, if I can go back and tell you guys how to do it, get staff early, get structure early. And if you don't know what types of things to get, reach out to Albert, reach out to myself or whoever you want to reach out to. They'll put a plan in place and just execute that plan. The other thing I'll tell you is the things you do right now won't show up for 90 days. It's like going to the gym. I can go to the gym right now, lift, bench press, squat, whatever it is. If I go back home and I step on the scale, it's the same.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, it's the same. And it's like, but if I do it consistently for 90 days, I'll see a result.
Yeah, it compounds.
Right. And that's recruiting. And so like you can hire staff, put a structure in place, start recruiting agents right now. You will not see a return for 60, 90 days. What I see most people do though, Albert, is they quit before then. Right before it gets good, right before they finish the learning curve, they go, this ain't for me, I'm out.
Right.
And then it's like all that work that you put into watering that plant, now it withers away.
Right.
So like I would say, staff structure, putting that in place. Because if you don't want to sell forever, and I don't think anybody does,
right,
then that's, you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah, so that's definitely a mental barrier. You get to a certain point, then you expect results. If you don't see it, then but you have to recognize you're changing your life. You're literally changing your life. So you got to push through and get to the other side.
Right, and it's uncomfortable, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys it. Like nobody enjoys spending money they don't have.
Yeah.
But it's like if you want to be able to get into an income bracket that you've never been able to get to, like you got to do things that you've never done to get there.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people here that have allowed you to do that. Like that's the fun part about this business was when I started associating with other people in this business, I quickly realized that my stack was not big. And I was like, how can I, like, that whole law of associations thing is like, if I hang out with 5 smokers, I'm the 6th. Right. If I hang out with 5 people that, drink, I'm the 6th, whatever it is. Right. Yeah. I was like, cool. If I hang out with 5 people that are millionaires, I'll probably be the 6th. Right. Dude, it was so fascinating how that worked. Because like, although like in the Vegas office, like I have the smallest stack, but it was like to be able to go learn and pick and choose and hear all the things that they taught me and I'm able to implement in my business. It's like, dude, it was golden. Yeah. Couldn't pay for that knowledge.
That's a murderer's row of business people in there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Cool. So, well, I know you got a couple meetings to get to. You're down here visiting. We appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Before I let you go, how often do you get confused for me?
Oh man, I don't know. Every meeting we have,
I feel like every sales conference, every convention.
We were at conference, and Albert was literally 4 feet from me in that direction, and someone ran straight at me with her arms up, Albert, and I was like, that way.
I feel like some people come up there like, hey, I really love your podcast or your training's awesome, and part of me is I'm thinking like, you must think I'm Steven, right?
No.
But I mean, if I'm going to get mistaken for anybody, I'm glad it's this guy. He's one of the best trainers in all of FFL.
Likewise,
a real solid dude. Just someone that you can definitely learn a lot from. Really helpful. So I mean, I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate being in business with you, and just hope to see you continue to grow. And appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Let's take what we've learned from Steven, go out and apply as much as you can, keep growing your business, keep growing individually, and let's go out and be elite, guys.